Hello, hello, hello. I want to read one more chapter from this book by Thich Nhat Hanh, True Love, a Practice for Awakening the Heart. And this last chapter that I wanted to read from it, it has more chapters than that, but I just wanted to include this one also. I picked the ones that I think are very, very important for everyone. And so I think these are very, very important for people to hear about, because those are our daily lives, that most people live their daily lives in some kind of brain fog, and they are not mindful in the way they're living. So these particular chapters that I have been reading, I think, are very, very important to consider, okay, every day. And I want people to get these books by Thich Nhat Hanh, very important, particularly this one here. So this chapter is called Learning to Speak with Love Again. This particularly pertains to trolls. So this is what he has to say. Associated with the practice of deep listening is the practice of loving speech. We must learn to speak with love again. This is a thing that can be done in a practice community where brothers and sisters practice loving speech every day. There are pacifists who can write protest letters of great condemnation, but who are incapable of writing a love letter. Like people who are protesting against war, for example, that's what he has been observing during his time of peaceful protest against the Vietnam War. He's from Vietnam, so he saw what was happening there. He has been in Vietnam also off and on during that era, and he's encountered soldiers, and what he did is, that's very, very amazing. There was one soldier, he was almost ready to pull his gun out on him. He thought he was part of the Viet Cong. And so he said to him very peacefully, he said to him, I understand you. I understand how you're feeling. Because he had compassion for that young man, and he understood where he was coming from. And that's what it's really about. It's all about understanding where the other person is coming from, understanding someone. And I just want to throw this in. I just remember Annalise, my child therapist, when she was living in LA and I was living in we lived together for about 2 months. It didn't work out. She is pretty bellicose, but I really respect her, and because she always had this vision of that we must bring love into the world. And her husband, Eduard Pestel, also was always talking about it, also at the Club of Rome, how any of these accomplishments in math and science, it doesn't amount to helping the world, unless we put love into it. This is very, very important. So she was in LA, and she told me about it. I wasn't there when she met that Buddhist monk at the beach. And so she met this Buddhist monk at the beach, and she said to him, I like the Buddha. I want you to tell me something about the Buddha. What do you have to say about the Buddha? And he said, the Buddha, let me think. Okay, this is what I would like to say, what the Buddha said. He told Annalise. The Buddha said that all the hardships and that all the battles and all the fights, all the wars, everything is just based on misunderstanding. And she had to think about this for a while. No, she reported that right back to me, and I had to think about this for a while, and I thought, yeah, it's true, So people are misunderstanding each other because they don't see where the other person is coming from. They don't understand what the story about that person is, So if we understood the other person, where they're coming from, then we can have compassion, then we can see the whole picture of it. So we must learn to speak with love again. This is a thing that can be done in a practice community where brothers and sisters practice loving speech every day. There are pacifists who can write protest letters of great condemnation, but who are incapable of writing a love letter. You have to write in such a way that the other person is receptive toward reading. You have to speak in such a way that the other person is receptive toward listening. If you do not, it is not worth the trouble to write or to speak. To write in such a way is to practice meditation. I remember a young American who came to us to practice. They're located in France. He has a monastery there, and he does great peace work. He has Palestinians and people from Israel come, and they will be battling each other there, but their intention is to work things out, because they have to work together in some region, and they want to work it out. So they came to him to have him help them to work things out. And they did. So it's amazing. His work is amazing. One day he was asked to write a letter to his mother, which was easy for him. On the other hand, it was impossible for him to write a letter to his father. And this chapter, a particular chapter, has helped me a whole lot make peace with my father. His father had died, but he still suffered every time he thought of him, like me with my grandfather. Just the idea of picking up a pen to write to his father already caused him a great deal of suffering. I proposed the following practice to him. For 1 week, he practiced mindful breathing, saying to himself, breathing in, I see myself as a child of 5. When one is a little boy of 5, one is very fragile and vulnerable. As he was breathing in, he saw himself as the object of his own compassion. During the 2nd week, he meditated on his father. Breathing in, I see my dad as a little child of 5. Breathing out, I smile at the little boy who was my dad. For a whole week, the young American practiced very faithfully and very enthusiastically. He put a photo of his father on the table, and every time he walked into the room and looked at it, he practiced mindful breathing. He had never imagined that his father could have been a child of 5. Suddenly the young man acknowledged the presence of his father as a little boy. It was the first time that he realized that his father had suffered as a little boy, and suddenly he felt compassion. Finally, one evening, he found it possible to write a first letter to his father. That transformed him completely, and now he has peace in his heart. Meditation is a practice of looking deeply into the nature of your suffering and your joy. Through the energy of mindfulness, through concentration, looking deeply into the nature of our suffering makes it possible for us to see the deep causes of that suffering. If you can keep mindfulness and concentration alive, then looking deeply will reveal to you the true nature of your pain, and freedom will arise as a result of your sustaining a deep vision into the nature of your pain. Solidity, freedom, calm, and joy are the fruits of meditation. Take care.